Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. So today I'm going to do a little review on Pace Morby's, one of his latest videos here. Number one way to reach out to homeowners and foreclosures. I see he's tapping on the shoulder of another YouTuber. Got no reason to think this other guy isn't legit. You guys know I'm not a big fan of Pace Morby. I think he over-exaggerates the opportunities amongst foreclosures, amongst people that are in trouble. He'll say, bring me your zero equity deals, which of course is a preposterous asset to be involved with. He's made other comments about LLCs, and if you look at, I got a whole bunch of videos on Pace, inconsistencies. So I'm not a big fan. I don't think he's the real deal. I really don't. I've been buying property since before Pace was born, so that'll give you some of my history. But this caught my eye because I actually, I've bought many pre-foreclosures, over the last 43 years. In fact, I bought one probably, 10 days ago, son? 8 days ago? Okay, so 8 days ago, I bought one, and this one had, according to Zillow, was worth between, $396 and $410. I bought it for $252,000, so there's $150,000 there for sure. Just conservatively, just say a little over 125 or something. Easy. I come from the school of experience, and a lot of people come from the school of simply taking knowledge from books and things they've read and trying to make it their own. But there's nothing to replace experience. So we're going to get into it, and I'll give you my commentary on this, and we'll watch it.
It's the best thing I ever did.
Right, so listen, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You won't find another channel, I think, with as much knowledge in the history. I am a constant buyer of properties. I've been buying them for 43 years. My students, by the way, you should really take a look at my students at flipanythingusa.com. Also, I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. But really, my students are probably the biggest thing you should be concerned with, right? The way you know a good school is by the students. And if you go to my site, you would see, and I'll just show you real quick here, go to Flip Anything USA. I've only been teaching people for the last three and a half years. Many millionaires, many that have made, hundreds of thousands of dollars, some in less than a year. This is all real stuff. These are all videos. Urge you to go watch those and compare those. Compare those to Pace Morby's testimonials. He's got what he calls success stories. And they're people that haven't been in the class for more than 2 weeks, some of them, and haven't even made a deal. That's not success, folks. That's dreaming. So anyhow, we're going to get into it. We'll watch this, and here we go.
What does a foreclosure process look like? Well, I've got Michael D. Frankie here, D for door knocking. Go over to his YouTube channel if you want to learn more about door knocking, pre-foreclosures, and working with pre-foreclosures. This dude's freaking knocking doors live in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. Okay, great.
Yeah, so I think Pace is trying to borrow on the credibility of others. A lot of times you see a lot of YouTubers, and I see Pace working with fakes, Grant Cardone and Chris Crone and other people that just simply, they slap each other on the back because they really don't have any good testimonials. But obviously you can see I'm pretty critical. But let's speed this up a little bit because I like to push things through, push it to 1 1/4. Let's keep watching.
Today, guys, we're going to be talking about what does the process of a foreclosure look like? Where are the deals typically getting done in this timeline? What is the mindset of the seller while they're going through these steps in the process? How sellers in the beginning are different than the sellers at the end? And Michael Frankie is here to hang out with me. Thanks, bro.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, walk me through this.
Okay, so obviously pre-foreclosure means they're behind on their payments, right? And generally, you get about 3 months behind is when we start having lenders reach out, okay?
So let's say here we are in January. They make a payment. You guys can see this on the sheet. They made a payment in January, so they're good. They made a payment in February, so they're good. They skip a payment in March, so they're now 30 days late. They get put on a very specific list, 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day late. Those are a little bit easy. Those lists are easy to get. However, that doesn't necessarily mean the seller's going to go into pre-foreclosure. A lot of times is they just forgot to make their payment. What then happens after 90 days of no payment is they get this thing called an NOD. Michael, what's an NOD?
It's a notice of default.
So everything that they're saying is true. And one of the things, a little known thing with most pre-foreclosures is it requires notice. To start to foreclose on somebody, they really have to be notified. And there's some people that are in foreclosure for 2 years because they haven't been served. They can't find them. And those kinds of leads can be very, very much gold, and they're not going to get it from AI or anything else. And you'll learn about that kind of detective work if you get into my mentorship. But so no issue with what they've said so far. Let's keep watching.
I mean, the bank doesn't foreclose on the house?
No, trustee.
They hire somebody?
They hire a trustee to perform the sale. Okay, and in this period of time,
Wow, that's so. I learned something new today.
And see, here's the thing: the sale is going to go to the courthouse. It's going to go to the county in which the property is sets in. It's where the county. So you can watch stuff. You'd be waiting for stuff to go to the courthouse steps. Go to the courthouse steps. I don't go to the courthouse steps and buy. That's usually not where the best deals are. There's a handful of deals that have been made there. Don't get me wrong, and there's tax sales, and they actually have the right to recover, and it just can be messy. So pre-foreclosure is the way to go if you're going to deal with that. People in distress, that's just kind of how it works, folks.
Why every single day I learn something new. They appoint a trustee to handle the process. We don't call it an appointment, we just call it a notice of default.
So most places would be a notice of default, but this basically says no matter what that document is called, that the lender has the intention to start the foreclosure process. This NOD period depends on the state. I don't know if you know how long yours is in Kansas City, Missouri area. It's somewhere between a few days to about 45 days. Just depends on the funnel of that particular lender.
Now, notice of default, where do we find the notice of default?
Okay, so for us, it's posted online. More than likely, most larger counties, metropolitan areas are going to have that online.
And they actually have to post it in the newspaper. They usually have to make it a public record, and so they'll put it in a newspaper. I actually one time got a foreclosure process happening on me. And it wasn't by any fault of my own. I had refied a building. It's the very first building I ever bought, actually. I had refied it, and it had a wraparound, what we call an all-inclusive trust deed. That's a fancy name for wraparound, right? And basically, there were 4 deeds of trust wrapped in a single. That's the all-inclusive one, right? What they call a wrap, like it wraps around those. Anyways, in my situation, when I refied the property, they paid all the individuals within it, but one of them they overpaid, and another one they didn't pay at all. And so that particular one that didn't get paid, he came out and said he started the foreclosure process, and he had a right to do so. And guess what? The title company, I knocked on their door, and my attorney at the same time said, hey, take care of it, and they did. They took care of it. A notary out there had the guy sign off, and it's the first time I ever had really collected from a title company. Most times it just seems like they're printing money. They get money for next to nothing, but they do fulfill their purpose, their obligations when they have to. And what they did is they paid the guy that didn't get received anything, and they never got the money back from the other guy, to my knowledge. But anyway, just share that.
Okay, and what is the thought process for most of these people that are in notice of default? Okay, there's always going to be a subset of people that want to take action immediately. Are the majority of people taking action during this period of time? They're not. But the subset of people that are, the deals are ripe for the picking in that period of time.
My experience, and it's been a while since we had a door knocking team. It's been 4 years for me. You actively have a door knocking team, so you have more live touch right now. My experience was about 10 to probably 20% at a very high end of people that are like, I'm aware, I'm logical, I'm not an ostrich with my head in the sand. I know this is only going to get worse, therefore I need to solve my problem right now. Michael is talking about those people. Probably 10, let's say that we have 100 people that go into the NOD process or the appointment process. 100 people, I bet you, would you say I'm about right? About 10% of those people are like, I'm ready to sell right now.
Oh, I think that's fair.
Okay.
And then another aspect of these NODs, you're going out there, let's say you door knock it. What if it's vacant? Okay, we can go back to another video that we just did about vacancy, but the earlier you get there, the likelier you're going to be the first person to get to that air, the event.
So I'm going to tell you something. When you have that situation and you have a vacant property like that, smell the money, okay? Because it means that they can't be served. They can't be found. It's very important.
Eventual seller, and if you can get to it early in the process, that makes it easier to assign as well.
That's amazing. So he's saying, hey, let's say you reach out to 10 people, or you reach out to 100 people, there's a vacant home. Video literally before this one in the playlist was talking about what to do with vacant homes. Now, what's happening is nobody else is going to take that extra time. You are going to be one of very few people that actually will reach out to those vacants. That's money. That's gold is what Michael is saying. Okay, cool. So about 10% of those people are ready to go right now. Awesome. You're reaching out to them like right when the NOD hits.
So for example, I did a YouTube video a few weeks back. I door knocked a guy. The NOD came out.
Okay.
I got an email from my virtual assistant that data had come out within a few minutes on the county records. It happened to be about 5 minutes away from me. I drove over there right away, door knocked the guy. He had just gotten home from work from a night shift. Guy didn't have a shirt on. It was raw, but had a great conversation with him. His wife had passed away 2 years ago. He just was shut down. Did not want to live in the house anymore. Just wanted a little bit of...
Which brings up something else that's very important. You know, even when you get into a situation where you have somebody distressed and wants to sell off, they might even already be divorced. You can't necessarily take it that, you know, that they own the property. Even in the event where the spouse deeded over the property to the individual, if they got a divorce, you have to investigate the divorce decree. Big stuff here. Divorce decree. You won't hear that probably from anybody else, but you got to take a look at that. And the title company will help investigate and find that, and you got to find out the county in which they were divorced.
Of equity to move on. He was going to move to with family in Nebraska. We set up an appointment the next Monday, a few days from there, which I contracted the deal. So guys, I came out with a piece of data, an NOD. I went and door knocked it right away, found motivation. Was he of the 10%? Probably, but it's a $35,000.
Yeah, so look, I'll rush this up just a little bit. This guy seems like a nice guy. He seems, you really want to get to people before the NOD, okay? You want to get to people that are in distress before they're in this deep, because once the NOD goes out, anybody can find that, it's like tells everyone. And now you got everybody like this guy on their trail. There's ways to get around that. There's ways to get there earlier, and you'll learn about that in my mentorship. Back in, and I'll just show you this, because this is something I did back in 1985. Let me see if I can find it. Very close to this property here. So I'm going to show you a property, and this is a pre-foreclosure I did. That's not it. It's this building here, right here. See, it says hardware store. So this is a property that all of a sudden they were closed. Well, nobody could find the owners of the store. The people that had the first trustee. It was actually an owner carry deal, and they were coming to foreclose, and nobody could find these people. Well, I found them. In fact, I'll tell you where I found them. Go up in the sky here. I found them way the hell out here in the desert. Way, way out here. Like Del Sur. It was actually near Del Sur. There you go. Out here in a trailer, staying on a friend's property, out like an alfalfa farm. And that's the kind of research and detail. This is where the gold is. Anyways, I found that deal. Now, guess what? I didn't have enough money to buy it by myself at that time. But, in fact, all these properties that you see, every one of these properties you see in the blue, and then there's even like another 60 over here. These are all things I bought in the 1980s, from 1980 to 1990. So I've really been living and breathing this real estate for a very, very long time. But anyhow, back to the hardware store. So on this one, what I did is I found them, made a deal to take it over, give them $10,000, got a hold of the people that were carrying the note. They said, we're not carrying the note for anybody else. They had to be paid off, put a little more pressure on this thing having to get wrapped up. Got a hold of my old boss. A lot of times your old employer is the guy that's got the money, right? He might employ you and 100 other people. He's got some money. So that's what I did. I hit up my buddy John Brooks, my old boss, and took him, got him there, and I said, John, this thing's worth at least $225. I'm getting it for like $150, something like that. And he said, man, that's a good deal, Tommy. He said, but I don't want to, I don't want a partner. And I'm like, huh? And he says, well, how about I give you 20 grand and I just take this thing over? Anyways, and that's how it went down. And I just assigned it to him for that reason. So let's go back here and listen to the rest of this, or most of it.
Assignment.
Dude, that's amazing. Okay, great. So money, what you are saying is you're saying the money in the deal, or where you're going to want to reach out is right about here. This is like your first place you're reaching out.
That spot is money.
Okay, and 10% of these people are ready to go. Now,
yeah, so I would say reach out before that, but say you want to get there before the NOD. You want to get there, and then you can find it. There's ways to do it. I'm going to run through this a little faster.
The people that don't sell, and they start going through this big loop and this big process of, I call this the ostrich egg. Mm-hmm. Is that how you spell ostrich?
Looks right.
Okay, so these are ostriches.
Eric should be able to tell us if it's spelled right.
What are they trying to accomplish in this loop right here? The people that don't sell right away, what's going on?
So let's say foreclosure sale is set right here, right after the notice of default. That first X amount of...
Here's the deal. The problem with what they're talking about here, and I've seen this because what does PACE say most of all? Bring me your no equity deals. All these people said, there's got a commercial. There's 600,000 homes out there and people are upside down on their mortgage. Guess what? If you're upside down on your mortgage, I don't even want the fucking thing. I don't want to even look at it. It's stupid to try to get into a deal and go, oh, but they got a 2% interest rate. I can take it over, and it doesn't matter that they're upside down. I can take this 2% interest rate, and even though the property's worth $280,000 and their mortgage is $300,000. The PACE has represented that to be like a deal with some of the things that he said in the past. And it's not a deal, because the problem is you can take over that situation, and even if you get it by the bank and they let you, get away with, jumping in and basically, doing what would be basically an illegal transfer, or a transfer that's, different, that can trigger the alienation clause or acceleration clause within the note. The problem is number one is you got no equity. You take a bank, you start to build your portfolio, and you look at that, the bank will laugh you right out the door. They go, you got nothing. You have nothing. And then it gets complicated too, because a lot of times the people that make the deal with you on that sort of thing in a sub-2 situation, it's even more trouble for them, because they realize they're up to debt to here still, even though they don't own the thing anymore, or in their mind they don't. They're still responsible for it. So it turns into a bigger cluster. So anyway, don't want to get too far off track here, but the key thing to do here is you want to get with a pre-foreclosure, is you want to get to them before the NOD, right? You want to get there. You want to find out, you want to get there when they're hurting, or when they're starting to crumble. If you get at this point, there's more competition, and believe me, you can still make an okay deal, but I'm not into making okay deals. I'm into making like a home run, like the deal I just bought 8 days ago. $150,000 equity on day one, and that's what you want.
Time, depending on which market you're in. That's when investors are reaching out to them, their lenders reaching out to them, they're finding out about the situation, and perhaps someone in our shoes, we're going to go over all of the options. Generally, are you going to contract a deal here? Probably not. But you start developing that rapport, you start getting that relationship going. That way, later in the process, they're more interested in talking to you. Okay? So is there many deals in this spot? No. Not too much. What happens in this kind of middle zone? Okay? That's when the seller is generally either sticking their head in the sand, they're not acknowledging the situation at all, or perhaps they take a lot of our advice from all of the different options we have, or they're communicating with their lender. They're trying to figure out the situation.
Yeah, there's some truth to what he's saying there, and I'm not saying he's being untruthful. That could be his experience. But the fact is, in this area, it's pennies, right? This is pennies. This is dollars over here. Let's see if we get to something else here.
What about agents? Are they working with a lot of agents?
A lot of them reach out to agents and see if they can list the house.
Okay. Sometimes, will you ever see them do
Okay, yeah, so now we're talking about agents here. So if you're upside down, as PACE is referred to, where all the opportunity is, listen, if a person can demonstrate that the property isn't worth what they owe on it, and that they don't have the capacity to bail it out and take care of it, it may be available for a short sale. And so then they can put it on, put it up for sale. Agent can get in there possibly, and then they take an offer and they take it to the bank and they go, look, this is the best offer we got. But usually it's not going to do anything except save their credit, right? And that's important to some people. But again, the big money is usually found way back here, and it's people that just don't give a shit. They just give up. Yeah, by the way, all these properties you see, every one of these properties I've owned, or still own, many of them I still own. Buildings, houses, land, commercial offices, industrial buildings. On that situation, property came up. I was on vacation. Kills me. I was on vacation for 10 days with all the kids that come back. For sale sign directly across the street from my home. I immediately called the agent. Agent said it's already sold. I'm like, shit. I go, what'd they ask for? I go, we asking way too little for it. It was $175,000 was what they were asking on a property that was worth probably $350,000. So me and the agent just got along terribly very quickly, and I said, okay, the hell with you. And I walked straight across the street, went over to the neighbor, said, listen, don't sign that contract you got. I said, if you haven't signed it, don't sign it. I said, I'll give you $50,000 more for it than the listing price on this deal. And she looked at me and she burst into tears, and she goes, my husband left me and I just want to get out of this place. And you know what? It wasn't good for me, because she didn't care. She didn't give a shit. She didn't care that I gave her $50,000 more. She didn't care. She just wanted out. She didn't care. She wanted out. And again, that's that mental health. That's that depression. They're unfortunate things, but people throw it up in the air and they don't care. But this happens many times without even going into default. So anyways, that's stuff I just want to make you aware of. You want to learn how to make money in real estate. You can do it. You can do it. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're inclined to, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. Be the best $10, $20 you ever spent in your life. You can get an Audible, Kindle. I'll read it to you if you get it in Audible. But listen, a lot of fake gurus out there, a lot of garbage out there. You really want to test. Look at students that have made money. And I don't mean pennies. I mean real money. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. Those are the kind of students, those are the kinds of people that you will see in my class right here. And you want to be in my class, believe me. You want to be in my class. I talk about a community of winners. It's VIP mentorship. You're not getting, you're going to have direct contact with me. It makes a world of difference to be able to talk to somebody that has been through it and been there, done that so many times. And I got many students now that are becoming very talented too. And so anyways, that's it. Again, hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you. And by the way, if you want to get in the mentorship, right here, you can apply for mentorship. Just click on this right here. Go to the site, it's just a little tiny questionnaire. You fill that little bit of information out. I'll throw you an email back or text you, and we can have a quick call. Absolutely no obligation to you whatsoever. I just like to see you on the right track. I turn more people down for my mentorship than I actually let in, because I won't let people come in that are broke. If you're broke, if you don't have money, I'm not going to encourage you to go into debt to get in my class. You need to figure out a skill and get some money under your belt. But people that have 50, 100,000, a couple 100,000, millions, and I have people with all those ranges. If you got at least $20,000, you got to have some money to invest. You're going to learn the skills from me. You want to be able to take a little bit of that money and start parlaying it and doubling and tripling your money. And so that's what I do here. So anyways, thanks for watching, and see you soon.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.